Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the fuel pump and sending unit on this 2003 Chevy Monte Carlo. And it's the same part and similar process on these Monte Carlos from 2000 to 2005. And the items that you'll need for this is a new fuel pump and sending unit from 1AAuto.com, 10mm socket and ratchet, flat blade screwdriver, hammer, wire pliers, wire cutters, and regular pliers.
And we're going to purge the system, and we have the vehicle running, and we're going to pull out the fuel pump relay, and then the engine stops. On our vehicle, this repair fixed the non-working fuel gauge, and you can see we just put the relay in there. If your fuel pump's not working, then obviously that's not going to work. You don't really need to do that. Disconnect the center belt and then pull obviously your seats forward. And this works in both the Monte Carlo as well as the Impala, Grand Prix and things like that. It's the same. And then you pull the trim and carpet, and there are a series of 10mm nuts that hold a plate down, and we're going to fast forward here as we remove all those.
Using a flat blade screwdriver, just pry up on the panel. And then pull the panel up and off those studs. Now on your sending unit, you want to pull up on this pin and then disconnect this harness. And then lift up on this tab and disconnect this harness. And then to remove these fuel lines, you want to push them in, then push down on the tab, and then pull them free. And that's what you do on the two outside fuel lines. On the center one, there's actually two tabs on either side of it. So after you've removed the two outside ones, you can then just push the tabs on the center one and pull it free. Using a flat blade screwdriver and a hammer, you want to line up the screwdriver on one of these pins and then hammer it so it turns that ring. And once the ring unclips, you can lift it up and off the sending unit. And you will have to angle it and spin it around a bit until you can find a way to pull it up and off. Now pull the sending unit up and out, and you'll hear it start to drain, and you do want to make sure that it's entirely drained so you don't get gasoline all over the inside of your car. And then once you're sure that all of the gas is out of it, just lift it up and out. Take your new one and then just apply this level sensor to it. And on the left is the old one, on the right is the new sending unit from 1AAuto. You can see they're identical and they'll fit exactly the same. You will need to take these fuel line clips off of your old sending unit and put them onto your new one. To do that, you just pry out on the tab on them, pull them free, remove these packing caps, and then just push that clip into place and repeat the process with the other one.
Okay, so GM used these very small connectors and they were susceptible to problems. So most of our new fuel pumps come now with a different connector that has larger contacts, and you basically have to cut the old connector off. I mean, technically you could leave it on there, but cut the old connector off. Okay. Okay, comes with a new connector, which is all color-coded, purple, gray, black, black with white stripe. So we've cut these 4 off, and we'll strip about 1/4 of an inch off. Okay, and then these connectors are 2 different sizes. The blue ones are a little larger, so I'm going to use a blue one on the gray and the black wire. You put the connector on, there's metal inside. Make sure the metal gets down over where you've stripped. Crimping pliers. I'm going to actually put the pliers on.
Okay, we'll just fast forward that as we repeat the same process for the other 4 wires. We're just crimping the connectors onto the vehicle side of the harness first.
Now take the wires and match up the colors and push them into those splices, and then just clamp it to lock the wire in. And we'll fast forward as Mike does the rest of the wires. And now wrap those splices in electrical tape.
And you want to make sure that you close off the ends really well to seal the connections from dirt and moisture.
Feed your new fuel pump and sending unit back down into the fuel tank.
And you're obviously taking care to make sure that the wires are out of the way and the fuel lines, pull them out of the way as you feed it down in.
Fit this ring back down under the fuel lines, and then line up those slots with the tabs. And you want to make sure that none of your harnesses get pinched underneath this ring. Once you have it lined up, push it down. And then you have to twist this ring clockwise. And to do that, we just use a flat blade screwdriver and a hammer. And you can use these tabs to help to turn it. Once the ring's on all the way, you will have to remove one of these posts, and we just use a pair of pliers. Ours is corroded enough where it wasn't really much of a problem to remove it, but you will have to remove it for this new larger harness to fit. Then just reconnect that harness, and then reconnect this other harness to your pressure sensor. and push the fuel lines back into place. And our fuel gauge on this car didn't work before, and this ended up being the problem. When you start the car, just make sure you can hear it all working. And you can see here on our fuel gauge, it's showing the proper level. Now just replace this pan and those 10mm nuts that hold it into place, and tighten those up. And now put your seats back up and you're all set.
We hope this video helps you out. Brought to you by oneauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.